the first sort of set of themes that came out, we just flatly called philanthropic redlining and philanthropic black clothes. Redlining was just the disinvestment, right, in our organizations, shown through some of the data that we just shared. Philanthropic black codes, we had Black leaders tell us that they really felt that they were held to more stringent or arduous or burdensome grant requirements than other leaders, white leaders, other leaders. These were, we had people talking about having to report financially monthly, whereas often, you know, foundations are sort of on a quarterly financial sort of reporting basis or an annual. We heard experiences of having to report monthly. Monthly site visits by foundation staff, even surprise site visits, those came up in the interviews. We were calling those philanthropic black clothes, things that applied to us, perhaps, and not to other people. Second theme, we just sort of put in a big bucket of talking but not walking, and rhetoric versus action. Social justice roadshows. These were the experiences, colleagues, that folks were sharing with us about always being invited to the meetings at foundations and grant-making institutions to give advice, to tell our experiences, to tell our stories, always being invited to write a column for the newsletter of the grant-making organization, but that never really resulting in money or additional money, right? Social justice roadshow. Trickle-down social change is another sort of phrase that we coined. This is the experience where money goes to white-led organizations, right, to address issues in our community. And white-led organizations often receive those funds, create an advisory committee of which we are invited to sit on, to advise, or we are given a sub-grant through a white-led organization. We heard a lot of those stories as well. So we were framing that trickle-down social change, right? And then the last sort of set of themes here, we just called the chasm, the distance between funders and the experience, the lived experience of our people. Philanthropic whack-a-mole, we heard a lot of sort of concern about just the often changing priorities of funders, right? And how our organizations get caught up in that. And that's something that's endemic, I think, to a number of organizations. Hearing problems, again, invited to advisory committees and the like for our thinking about how grant making should be shaped to support our communities, yet investment strategies that ultimately come down don't actually sort of align with the advice, the thinking, the expertise that came from our input. And then we don't believe you was just flat out. Basically, we heard a lot of sort of concern about just not believing the ideas, the genius, the brilliance, and the thinking of Black nonprofit leaders around the country. So that is some of what we heard in terms of the interviews. And again, I am sure that a lot of this is sounding familiar.